Are you still using the remote desktop client to access your Azure Virtual Desktops or Windows 365 desktops? If you are, then you may want to watch today's video because on Friday, the 27th of March, Microsoft officially ended support for it. Okay, so if you are using that in your production environment, then you need to upgrade to the Windows app ASAP. And that's what we're going to go through in today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to upgrade via Intune. I'll show you how to upgrade manually. And then we'll also show you how you can track in your existing environment who's still using the old client, because if you get any issues, Microsoft will not give you any support. And also, they will not add any new features and functionality into the old client. All the new functionalities will go into the Windows app. Once again, if you are running the remote desktop client to access Azure Virtual Desktop or Windows 365 desktops, then carry on watching this video because you're not going to want to miss this. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome. This is the Virtual Mac YouTube channel. On this channel, I review the latest news about Virtual Desktop, Windows 365, Nerdio, Intune, Enter ID, and much, much more. So if this is the type of content that you do, then please click that like and subscribe button because it really helps me grow the channel. All right, so what's actually happening? So the remote desktop app has actually been around since 2019, right? So it's 7 years old now. Microsoft have been putting a lot of new features into what they call the Windows app, right? So originally the remote desktop app was released just to support Windows Virtual Desktop, as it was called back then, which then got replaced at Azure Virtual Desktop. And then obviously we've had DevBox, Windows 365. So they've had to improve as time goes by. So what Microsoft have done, they released the Windows app, right? And the Windows app was released last year, if I remember rightly, and it's the replacement for the remote desktop app. Okay, they're officially going to be ending support. Well, they have officially ended support last week. So if you are running the remote desktop app, then I suggest upgrading ASAP to the Windows app, which is what we're going to go through today, right? So what I'm going to do today is I will go through how to upgrade via Intune. So Microsoft are giving us a script to show you how to do that. But it's not upgrade as in remove the existing version, then replace it with new. It's just a deployment script to deploy the Windows app, okay? And then we'll look at how to deploy it manually. And then we'll also look into log analytics to track who is actually using the old app, right? So if you're not sure exactly, maybe you've got like thousands of users spread across the world, you need to track who exactly is on the old app, because obviously the problem is you're not supported, right? So if there's any major issues in the environment or any issues that with Microsoft environment and you are running the old app, then you won't be supported. If you try to log a support code with Microsoft, they will not help you, right? So that's why it's really important that we get people migrated onto the Windows app as soon as possible. So that's what we're going to be going through today. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to head over and I'll show you the Microsoft tool which they've released, right? And we'll go through that. And then we're actually going to go through and deploy that via the Intune portal. And then I'll show you how to deploy the Windows app manually as well, because maybe you have some remote contractors who you don't manage their systems. So you need to know how to deploy it. All right. Okay. All right. That's enough for the theory, but let's get into it. All right. So let's discuss Microsoft released a tool to help us through this. So we'll go through that now. I'll put the URL in the link section below, but this is the remote desktop client migration script which Microsoft done to help us through this. What this does, it installs the Windows app via MSX package download, and then optionally uninstalls the legacy remote desktop client as well, or you can keep it if you want to, just in case there's any problems. That's probably while you're still doing the initial testing, that's probably a recommended approach, because the last thing that you want is to remove the remote desktop app and then install the new one and then find out that it doesn't work because there's something within your environment. Maybe you do it as a two-step process. Step one, deploy the Windows app, leave it a week or two, make sure that everything's happy. And then step two, then maybe go ahead and remove the remote desktop client later. So that's probably the recommended approach. You can see it's just a PowerShell script that we'd run. You can disable auto update as well if you want to. So you can manually manage this via Intune, which is again probably recommended, because if, for example, Microsoft push an update out and it breaks everything, it has been known to happen, then that will help control that, right? That's what I'd probably recommend. Definitely in a larger environment, right? You want to control what versions are out there. And then, yeah, that's just disable auto updates, which I definitely recommend. Okay, so this is the instructions of how to deploy that Intune, and this is what we're going to go ahead and do now as well. Okay, so next, what we'll do, we'll head over to the Intune portal. We'll push this out onto a desktop that I've got ready to go. And then we'll see, number one, how long it takes. And number two, see what the experience is like. Okay. All right. So let's go and do this. All right. So we're in the Intune portal. What we're going to do now is we're going to go and upload the script, which we downloaded earlier. I've not made any modifications to it, so just left it as default. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to devices. We are then going to go to Windows. We are then going to go to scripts and remediations. And then we're going to go to platform scripts. So this is where we upload the script. So I'm going to click add. And then we're going to call this Windows app deployments. Okay, description. So this script deploys the Windows app. Okay, I'm going to go next. So here's where we point to the file. So I've already downloaded the script. So if I go into here and go into scripts, I have this remote desktop client migration script, right? So that's the one that I downloaded earlier. I'm going to select that. So a couple of things. So run this script using the logged on credentials. No, because we need it to run as system. Okay. And for scripts to check no, because we don't have it signed. But if you wanted to have it signed in your environment, because maybe you have to have them signed, that's fine. You can go ahead and do that. And run scripts in 64-bit PowerShell host, we're going to select that as yes. Okay, because it needs to be in that format. Okay, so I selected that. Select next. Then assignments. So now we need to select which devices that we need to add it to. So what we'll do is we'll add it to a group. So I've pre-created a group with my device in it. So I've got a device which has got the old client on it, right? And click on add groups. And then I've called it Windows app deployment. And this is just a Entra ID security group, which contains my Intune registered device. Okay, select next. So you can see there's one device in there. Click next, review and create. Okay, and then click on create. And that's pretty much all you have to do, right? Quite simple. So what you'll see here, you can see Windows app deployment. So that's there. So that's now assigned. And then that's modified at 8:50 a.m. So if I just head over to my VM, what you'll see here is I've got this virtual machine running, and this has got the old remote desktop client on it. Okay, so this is the old one that we normally use to connect to Azure Virtual Desktop or Windows 365. So I'm just going to close that down, and now we just sit and wait and see how long this takes to deploy. And the Windows app, you can see nothing's on there at the moment. We'll give it, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and then hopefully we'll see that deployed on there as well. All right, so when that's finished, we'll come back and we'll see that finished. Okay, so it's just popped up. So what we'll do now is we'll log on to the desktop and we'll see what's actually changed. Okay, all right, this is the desktop that we're on before. So now it's actually removed the old client, okay, and it's actually installed the new client. Right, so if the old client was on there, that's now been removed. So we can see here we've got the Windows app. Okay, so let's now go and launch that and just see what happens. To see what the experience is like. So in theory, it should log me straight in. Okay, so welcome to Windows app. Yeah, next, done. Okay, cool. All right. So just giving me a kind of intro guide as to where to see everything, which is nice from an end user perspective. Okay, but these next, done. Cool. And there I can see all my desktops, right? So there are the desktops that I had previously as well, and which is good. And then of course you've got apps as well. So it looks a lot nicer than the old one. The old one was looking a bit dated, a bit basic. This one looks much nicer. Let's just try connecting to a desktop and just make sure that works. Okay, so this is a desktop that I was logged on previously. So in theory, it should just take me straight through. And there we go. Straight in. Okay, so that looks like it's working as it should do. So yeah, that's all good. So what we'll do now is we'll head over and we'll see how can actually track to see which old clients are still being used, because that's really important, because you may have lots of people connected in from devices that you don't manage, right? So you need to have visibility of what's been used. So what we'll do is we'll head over into the Azure Virtual Desktop portal, and I'll show you where to look for those old clients. All right, so we'll do that now. And before we do that, the Intune portal is actually just updated. So we'll just head over now. So you can see there, this is the device, the scripts and remediation screen. And these are the devices that it's pushed it out to. So this was the device that I was using. And you can see the status of there, it's succeeded. So if you go to overview, we can see in there as well. So yeah, this is where you can track to see if there's been any problems or not. So obviously, if there were any issues, you'd see an error in there, and then you can go and investigate those. But this one looks like it's gone through successfully. So that's uninstalled the older client and then installed the new client over the top of that as well, which is definitely a good thing. All right. So yeah, let's now go and check in the Azure Virtual Desktop portal and see how do I track to see which old ones are still out there. Okay, so to track this, we're going to use something called Azure Virtual Desktop Insights. So Azure Virtual Desktop Insights is essentially the reporting capability of Azure Virtual Desktop. The way this works is most of your host pools and workspaces, they input all their data into a log analytics database, okay? And then we use the Azure Virtual Desktop Insights to query that log analytics database. Let's head over to that screen now. So you can see all I've done here is go to the Azure Virtual Desktop screen, and then we have Insights at the bottom of the screen here. So then if we go to clients, so this is where we can view that information. So if I go to clients, and then what that should do, that should tell us the different type of clients that are out there, right? So what you'll see here is you'll see the old one and you'll see the new one, right? So this bottom one is the new one, if I believe. Yep, so this bottom one is a new one, and the top one is the old one, right? So you can see there, MSRDC x64, and that's the version 1.7.046.0, right? So that's the old one, and this one here, 1.26980, is the new one, right? And you can see here it's got the MSX in it. So the numbering is a bit confusing. I can see that now, but yeah, just be wary where that says MSX, that's the new one. MSRDC, that's the old one. Okay, so don't let these numbers confuse you a bit. So when you're going from there, you'll be able to see which clients are using those. So obviously then you can go through and track down, okay, who's actually using those, because you'll be able to see by the logon name as well from within there as well. So you can also download that as well. So if you need to export that to CSV for reporting purposes and stuff, you can share there. So that's how you can see the old versions and new versions. You definitely want to start tracking that, because it said the client will continue to work. It'll just be in a situation where there may be no new features been put into it, or but the most important thing is if you log a support ticket with Microsoft, they won't support you. So you imagine you've got a whole fleet of users who are down, they can't connect. You log a support call with Microsoft and they just won't support you at all until you upgrade to the Windows app client. So it's best to get ahead and upgrade when you can, because the new app does look a lot better. It looks a lot slicker, and the performance seems to be better as well. It does. You do find that you connect to a desktop quite a bit quicker if you use a new app. Definitely do this as soon as you can, because it's better to get ahead of the game rather than just like saying, oh yeah, I don't need the support or something, because you will get caught out. So we've successfully migrated the old Windows Remote Desktop client onto the Windows app. Okay, pretty quick, pretty seamless. Obviously, if you didn't have those devices managed by Intune, you'd have to do it manually or whatever automation method you choose, because obviously it's just a PowerShell script which you can deploy. But yeah, I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please click that like and subscribe button, because it really helps me grow the channel. And yeah, I hope to see you next week for another video. And if you've got any questions, please drop it in the comments, and now I'll see you next week. All right, thanks, bye bye.